Hello, my friends, teachers, and students. Welcome to my presentation. My name is MD Mustafa Kamal. Currently, I am studying LLM in International Commercial Law at University of Westminster. In today's program, I will present on World Trade Organization. At first, I would like to thank to my Professor Dr. Aonis, who has given me an opportunity to talk about an interesting topic. So let's begin with the agenda. Today's agenda are introduction. It includes a brief overview of the World Trade Organization and its objectives, definition of World Trade Organization, GATT. Secondly, the structure and the principles of the World Trade Organization. Thirdly, I will discuss UK trading under World Trade Organization rules. Fourthly, I will discuss about the Brexit and how it's affecting WTO. Then I will discuss in another slide new relationship, and finally I will draw the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. So the brief overview of the WTO and its objectives are the following. So in the first place, I would like to say the World Trade Organization is an intergovernmental organization that serves as the primary international forum for regulating and facilitating trade between nations, established in 1995 as a successor to the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade GATT. The World Trade Organization has become a cornerstone of the global economic system with 164 member countries as of September 2021. In the second place, I will discuss about the history of the World Trade Organization, dates back to the GATT, which was established in 1947 with the aim of reducing the trade barriers and promoting international trade. Over the years, GATT went through several rounds of negotiations, which resulted in the reduction of tariffs and other trade barriers. The most significant of these rounds was the Uruguay round, which lasted from 1986 to 1994 and resulted in the creation of the World Trade Organization. So in the next slide, we can see that the objectives of the World Trade Organization are to promote free and fair trade among member countries, provide a forum for negotiating and monitoring trade agreements, and provide technical assistance to developing countries to help the benefit from trade. Besides this, the World Trade Organization is guided by a set of principles, including non-discrimination, free trade, transparency, predictability, and promoting fair competition. These principles basically are aimed at creating a level playing field for all member countries and ensuring that trade is conducted in a fair and equitable manner. So now in the next slide, we can see that the definition of GATT and WTO. So GATT, since 1995, the updated General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, has become the General Agreement for Trade in Goods. Then GATT contains an overall framework which set out the principles and rules applying to goods, trades, as well as exceptions to these rules and principles. So WTO members' tariff schedules are annexed to GATT and set out the tariffs applied by each WTO members in relation to specific goods. Besides this, the World Trade Organization is also divided by two ways. We can say that GATS, that is the General Agreement on Trade in Several Services, is the WTO agreement governing trade in service. Besides this, GATS applies to all service sectors except services supplied in the exercise of governmental authority and services related to the exercise of air traffic rights. and GATS consists of an overall framework which sets out the principles and rules and schedule for each WTO member, listing its specific comments and any exceptions. Besides this, there are a number of the other WTO agreements, including TRIPS, that is trade-related express intellectual property rights, CPA, the government procurement agreement, and also it is all described the resolving trade disputes between WTO members and other core functions related like dispute settlement, including dispute settlement understanding. On the next slide, we can see the structure of and principles of the presentations, the main agenda. So there are two key principles under WTO law, and number one is non-discrimination FMN. That is, non-discrimination is a fundamental principle of the world trade, and it is the also named as ZATT and the ZATS. Besides this, the most favored nation MFN principle is a key aspect of non-discrimination, which requires that any advantage, favor, or privilege given to one member country must be extended to all member countries. So in the next slide, we can see that the another key principles of under WTO law is national treatment. So national treatment is a principle of a non-discrimination under WTO that requires foreign goods and services to be treated no less favorably than domestic goods and services. Besides this one, the national treatment principle applies to both trade in goods and trade in services, and is enshrined in the General Agreement of Tariffs, Trade, ZATT, and the GATS. So we can see in the next slide the structure of the World Trade Organization, which is composed of member countries and have an equal say in decision making. Besides this one, the highest decision making body of the World Trade Organization is the Ministerial Conference, which meets every 2 years. In the next slide, we can see the World Trade Organization has agreements covering goods, that is ZAT, services, ZATS, and intellectual property, that is TRIPS. So the ministerial conference are divided into two categories: 28 member states and the other European Union. So the another agenda of this presentation is WTO rules. What means for UK to trade under World Trade Organization rules? So there are three categories where you can see in this slide: WTO rules, all trading relations between UK and EU. Then secondly, WTO terms, that is particular conditions that countries have agreed in the WTO. And finally, UK member of World Trade continue outside the UK. So now the another important topics that is agenda in our presentation is described in this slide, which is Brexit, WTO. So the Brexit process began when the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union in a 2016 referendum. Following the vote, there was 4 years of debate about the best scenario for a withdrawal agreement between the UK and EU. So we can see the Brexit WTO key arguments for the concept of trade. We can see for Remain, EU membership provided unrestricted access to the European single market, which was invaluable trade and enables the easy movement of goods, service, and people across the member states. And in case of trade, for leaving, membership of the EU kept Britain from fully capitalize on trade with other major economies such as Japan, India, and the United States. On the other hand, in case of business, for remain, free trade within the EU reduce red tape and enable companies to grow. And for leave, the EU subjected to Britain slow and inflexible bureaucratic red tape, making it more prohibitive for smaller companies to do business. And for the consumer goods, the average person in Britain saved hundreds each year thanks lower price of goods and services facilitated by the EU. For the living, in case of consumer goods, EU VAT contributions and agriculture subsidies policies cost UK consumers hundreds of pounds is here. So in the next slide, we can see the new relationship. So on 24 December 2020, negotiations between the EU and the UK, we can see the three important agreements, which are the trade and cooperation agreement, the information security agreement, and finally the nuclear cooperation agreement. These three agreement came into force on 1st January 2021. So now we'll draw the conclusion of this presentation by saying that there are a couple of points we have recap, which are WTO is a crucial organization. Besides this one, UK, even though not participate in EU, is within the WTO as a member country. And finally, not being longer with the EU was a democratic decision was taken in 23rd June 2016. So in this presentation, it is said that I have tried to present all these agenda fully, and I think you have understood all these things. If you have any further questions, you are feel free to ask me any type of questions, and I am really happy to answer all these questions. And finally, I would like to thanks everyone for watching my videos. Thank you.